The Scrum methodology is used by millions of project managers, product owners, and Scrum masters all around the world every single day. And though it can be complex, there are ways that we can simplify the process. And so today, I'm going to be talking to you and showing you how to manage your Scrum processes and sprints inside of Asana. If you're new to the channel, my name is Marquis and I'm a business process consultant and Asana expert, and you've landed on the #1 channel on YouTube for all things related to Asana, process improvement, and project management. This video is actually the third in a series of other videos related to Scrum. They're still some of my highest viewed videos month over month, but the thing is that those videos are now over 2 years old. And so Asana has changed, my thinking has changed, the ways you can use Asana has changed, and the ways that we can manage our projects has also changed. So today I'm going to show you how you can use Asana to better manage your different projects, user stories, and sprints inside of Asana. Let's get into our demo. Within here, this may be a little bit familiar if you've been following for a long time. If you haven't watched those earlier videos, please just go and watch them because they'll kind of bring you up to speed. But I'm going to be showing you what this looks like now inside of Asana with all the recent updates. And so we're just going to go in and we're going to set up our project. I want you to think of this as, just kind of a walkthrough today. If I was meeting with your company and we were doing some consulting, this is the approach that I would take. We would hop on a call and we would work through the solution together in a workshop style. So it's going to be pretty laid back today, but I'm just going to set up our project here. So Scrum demo like so. We're just going to make it a list and we're going to add our different sections to this now. So let's go here and we're going to go with our backlog first, and then we are going to go with our story section, tab N to make a new one. I'm going to have this section called to be refined. So when you're doing your backlog refinement, you have a section where those tasks or those user requests go to, and then you can go through your process of refinement as well. So then we're going to go in and I'm going to create this one called validated. So after the grooming process or the refinement process, you've agreed as a team that this is something we are going to do. We're going to move forward with this and it's going to be added to an eventual future sprint. So I'm going to say validated and then even to be sprinted like so. And we have another section called in sprint and then another section called done. So what I'm not going to show you today is all the different rules and things you can do to move them through here. I'm now going to add in the custom fields, and I'll add a couple of rules just so we can, get a really good understanding of how we could use this in our own use case. So I know I already have these custom fields in here, but the two that I'm going to bring in, one of them is going to be the Scrum number, or the story number, I should say. It's not how you spell story. There we go. So we're going to bring that one in there. And then we're going to add another custom field that I already have because I've been using it, is the Scrum stage. And so this highlights our backlog, story to be refined, validated, and sprint in demo, and then done. Sections there. So within the story section, I'm just going to add a few tasks here first. So the first one is going to be something like user portal improvements. So I'm going to add another one. My keyboard has been broken for a while. Like my escape key doesn't really work and my spacebar seldom works. Logitech, if you're watching, I need a new MX series keyboard, please and thanks. Survey rollout could be story number 2, and then we can do abandoned cart sequence as another one. And so let's go in there. There we go. That's not useful. Abandoned. There we are. So we've got our 3 stories now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assign those to a story number. So we're going to have number 1, 2, and 3, keep it real simple. And then I'm just going to add my tasks here. So the first one will be portal 1, and then portal 2 and portal 3, just so we can get some tasks in here. And then I'm going to have, for my second story, I'm going to have CSAT 1, 2, and 3, like so. And then for the third one, I'm going to have cart 1, cart 2, and cart 3, like that. So great. Now we're just going to assign these to a story. Again, I spend quite a bit of time just going through this in the earlier videos, but today I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what this could look like. And because we have our Scrum stage here as well, I'm just going to highlight all of these and set them all to backlog. We can create rules that as it goes to, say, for example, to be refined, right? We would take something from the backlog, a request had come in, and now we can set up a rule. So when it's either moved to the section or when the Scrum stage is updated to be refined, we can set actions and move it to that section, right? Like so, and then we can set another action that actually changes the name of the field to be refined. So it's things like that that I'm not going to do for everything here. I have other videos on rules if you want to go and make them, but that's something that I would just do for this Scrum like backlog demo. And if you have this ongoing, these rules are set up once and you never have to change them. So then any tasks now that are moved here, so if we take some of these now and we go 1, 2, 3, we're going to move these all to be refined, and you'll see what happens. They're all going to update from backlog to that to be refined. And no, it's not, because I forgot one thing. If you're watching, I hope you caught it. I do this quite often. Rather than all of these triggers happen, you also have to select when any of these triggers happen. So let's take these back up here, and then we'll go do that again, and they'll all update now. So whether I move it or whether I actually assign the Scrum stage, they'll automatically be updated. One thing that I do want to do is sort these by, this is going to be, sorry, the sort is over here now. Asana has changed it. So we're going to sort this by our story number so that no matter where things move, they're always like stacked properly. So I just like to keep it really organized like that. And so I'm going to add a couple other fields for our time. So we're going to time our work here. We're going to add an estimated time and actual time. And you might not need to see actual time in this. I'll just move that over there. And so depending on what your process looks like during the refinement process, you would work with your team to define how long these things will take. If you use points, which for Asana's purposes, I don't suggest you do because we have this new estimated time. This is going to take 2 hours, and then this is going to take 3 hours. We'll just keep it super simple today. So we've got this kind of set up right now. I'm going to talk about a couple of inputs because there's a couple ways you can do this. We can add tasks manually to the backlog, and I'm actually going to add one rule here that says that any tasks that are added to this project, all tasks, what is going to happen or move to this section, there we go, are going to be assigned this backlog, and then the Scrum stage is going to be set to backlog, and that should be good. Again, we want to change that right there. So again, anything that's moved here is in that backlog. There's two ways you can do this. We can add these tasks manually here. So as the stories come in or the requests come in, we can add them manually, and then you're basically relying on your custom fields and your ability to like define the process for your team to say, hey, if you're putting in a request, you have to define all of these different fields and put in all this information. And oftentimes things are missed because there's no way to do that. So if we were, say, using a task template, we converted this a task template, and we had all of our sections here for everything that's required to give our devs or our Scrum team enough information to work on that request. We would have it all inside of our task template, and they could pull it in manually. But another way, and a popular way, is to just use forms, right? So if we did create a form, we could have something like name, email, and we can make it so that maybe the person who's submitting it doesn't actually get added, but then we can say, create a single select. And again, if this is kind of an ongoing thing, we can say story, and then my options would be portal, just for quick input, CSAT, and then cart, right? So they're going to select one of those, and then they're going to provide more information. So what is your requirement? Like so. And then that can be required. And then now you can have this form that inputs. And when it comes in, it can be assigned to the product owner or the Scrum Master, probably the product owner in this case. And then we can now set a rule that any task added to this project, rather than all tasks, we go form submissions, right? And then we're referencing that form. So now all the forms that come in are going to go to that section, and then certain triggers are going to be triggered, and then certain actions are going to be taken. So just depends on how you want to set that up for your team. There are different ways we can approach this, but that's one of the new ways that I'm helping teams set up their Scrum processes. So it's kind of number one. I'm not going to go through all the rules. One rule that I am going to set though is the in sprint, and you'll see what that looks like in a second. And actually, I would always suggest that you do the same for your done section, because the way that I'm going to show you this is that if we are multi-homing or using actual sprint boards, in addition to this, let me rename this Scrum backlog, like so, then we're going to want to make sure that if it's completed somewhere else, that it can be completed here. So my suggestion next would be to create a sprint template, right? So as you're doing your sprint planning week to week, you would create a template. Now, there's two kind of schools of thought. You can create another project, just create a blank project, and we can call this sprint board. So if you have just one sprint board and all of your requests and tasks are being added to that board week over week, and maybe there is some overlap, so you would see some tasks still on the board, but the whole point of Scrum is that we estimate and we execute all of the tasks within that specified sprint duration. And so if there is some overflow or some buffer, you could just have one board, but this is one way you can do it. I'm going to show you another one in a second. So if we do have this sprint board now, one thing that you could do is we go, and I'm just going to set this up real quick here, give us some quick sections to do, in progress, like so, and then done. We'll just keep it super, super simple. I'm going to add my custom fields here as well, the same ones as before. So we're going to add Scrum stage. There we go. My computer's running a bit slow today. And then we have our story number. Again, just for visibility's sake, you don't have to visualize these here. You can turn them off, but sometimes we do like to have them inside of the project. So we can do that. And then I'm also going to add our time here as well. So if we go back to the backlog, what I would do is after the refinement has been done, it's been validated, it's ready to be sprinted, right? And then let's assume that this automatically updates to validated. The next step would be to add a rule to in sprint that multi-homes it to your master sprint board. So as the task is moved there, or the Scrum stage is updated to validated, like so, we can do that. And so actually, no, I'm not going to do that. We're going to keep it validated. And so as the task is moved to in sprint, or again, let's go back in there. This is changed to in sprint, then we can set our actions. And the first one's going to be move or add to another project. And the project we're going to move it to is our sprint board. And we're going to put it in the to-do section. And then we're going to actually mark it as, what did we say? In sprint. There we go. And then move it to that section. So it can feel like a little bit redundant, but you want to make sure that no matter what action is taken or what triggers happen, that these actions are actually fulfilled. And so we'll just finish that off right there. So now we're going to create that rule. And so I'm going to make it so that I'm going to bring down CSAT1, and it's going to go like so. And Asana is going to do its thing. And now actually I want to visualize the project that it's being added to. Right there. So let's see what we did wrong, because it's not actually moving. Oh, I put it in validated. There we go. Let's put it in sprint. Great. So Asana is running. There we go. It automatically goes to the sprint board. And then the sprint team or the Scrum team now can go and work on that. It's already been estimated. We can assign it to the person that we want to, and then the due date's going to be worked on within that time frame. So that's one way you can do it. And obviously we can now use Asana to track the time on it for that task, so we make sure that we're within budget. And obviously that's super important. So that's one way you can do it. The other way that I would suggest you do it is to, rather than have one sprint board, you can do this. You can have a template where you call it sprint, and then we can call it, or we can do this, sprint planning, like so, and we'll call it week 23. Just for now, we're going to remove this here from this because it's not time to come in. And in this case, because we're creating a template, that means that we're going to be recreating this every single week. So when we're doing our sprint planning for the upcoming sprint, we will just redeploy this template, but we want to set it up exactly how we want to. But we're going to be removing that multi-homing feature unless you want to change the rule every single sprint, which I don't suggest. You're going to be doing this part manually. And so we've got our template set up. We've got everything here. I'm just going to go and I'm going to convert this to template. I'm going to call it just that. Great. Anyone can create an edit. And then I would go a step further and add even our roles here as well. So we can have, thanks for the prompt, Asana, project manager. We can have our Scrum Master, like so. And then we can have our product owner, like so. And then maybe we can have dev 1, because we want to add our dev team as well. And then we can have dev 2, like so. There we go. So now we've got our template. We can add anything to the overview that we need, any additional information, settings. We can change and add whoever we want to here. But then I'm going to take it a step further. And I didn't create it, so I'm going to have to go and do that real quickly. I would suggest creating. Oh, I did do it. I did it already, but I'm going to do it for you here quickly. So I'm just going to call this sprint planning, and then this can be like fiscal year 23 Q2, or we can make this one Q3 since I already have the Q2. And now we can start adding our projects to it. And then every time you redeploy, so let's actually go back here now. Let's go back to our template for a second. Let's edit that. So we'll go to settings and we'll just add it to the sprint planning, which what did we say? Q3. So now every time we deploy this template, it's automatically going to be added. And so there's actually some like added benefit to this, because then the product owner can make sure that we're on track and we're reaching our goals. And then the Scrum Master can work within those individual sprints to actually make sure we're completing our weekly sprint objectives, right? So now I can go in here and I can say, I'm going to use a template. I'm going to pull in this one here, use template, and I'm going to rename it. So the week number is 19. It's the 19th week of the year so far. So you can track it that way. And now we can set our roles. So it's going to be me, project manager. I'm going to be the Scrum Master, and then someone else is going to be the product owner. And then we're going to have, I'm going to be dev on this as well. And then we're going to go to our project and this will deploy. So again, with this way, when we go from our Scrum backlog, we're not going to have the ability to multi-home it. We're going to have to just, let me just turn off that rule. Just fully delete it. So now we have this validated. It's ready to be sprinted. CSAT 1 is ready to go. We would just then have to go in and then add it to that sprint, and it's right there. And then we make sure it's in the to-do section, right? So that's another way that you could do it. I recommend that way because then the more sprints you have, I'm going to go back to our portfolio for a second. I'm going to add some more work. And I'm going to call this sprint planning. I've got week 20 here that I can add in. And then I can add in my sprint for week 21 as well. So now again, the product owner can kind of hang out here and see how we're doing, if we're on track with our goals. I would suggest then as well bringing in roll-ups so you can see your estimated time that you're tracking inside the projects. You can see your actual time in the projects as well, and whatever other metrics you want to visualize here. You can set priority. You can, as you're doing your status updates, you can see how we're tracking as well. So this one is on track with our notes. And then if we missed something, we can then come back and we can update these. And, maybe this one is now at risk, right? And so These are just a couple of the ways that we have seen Asana improve, and I wanted to show you kind of how we can remain flexible. But again, this will look significantly different depending on your organization. So play around with it, be flexible. If you need help, send me an email, book a call with me. I'd love to consult with your team or help you trying to figure out any of these problems. And if you have a question right now, just leave a comment. It helps to have the comments there, because a question you have is probably a question that someone else has as well. And so before I go, I just want to ask, if you saw this video and you thought it to be valuable and you liked what you saw, just go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with a friend that you think this would be helpful to, because it's truly through the likes and the comments and the sharing that we help people on YouTube like you who are looking for these solutions. So let's help them find these videos. Thank you for watching. And again, if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. We'll see you in the next video.